As a Blue Lock fan, it's always interesting to analyze who's the best New Gen 11 player between Sae, Kaiser, and Lorenzo. The question is actually much more interesting and closer the more you think about it. There's so many factors that we have to talk about. And one of my favorite aspects about the New Gen 11 as a whole is that you cannot have a definite answer on who's the best player. Even though personally, I would pick Sae. He's always been portrayed to be a step above anyone else, but I digress. All three players have skills about them that makes it stand out from the others. Itoshi Sae is the best all-around player and midfielder with elite passing, dribbling, and shot accuracy. Kaiser is the best striker by far with insane shooting speed that even surpasses the best striker in the manga in Noah. And Don Lorenzo is the best defender in the manga, it's not even close. He was able to lock up Kaiser during the whole Ubers game, which is insane because Kaiser has insane off the ball movement, and the fact that Lorenzo was able to lock him up for the whole game practically is insane, truly insane. As I vaguely display all the weapons and skills, you can notice that it's pretty complicated to decide comfortably who's the best out of the three. Depending on the situation, Sae could be the better option for the team if they need a player for creation or to control the game, or Kaiser if they need a striker, or Lorenzo for his defense. That's why today I'm going to analyze all three players to see if there's one who stands out as the best player or the best New Gen 11 player. Itoshi Sae, or the Japanese Prince, is the first New Gen 11 player introduced to us. He's my favorite character, so I'm gonna try my best not to be biased. But when it comes to the narrative, Sae has always been portrayed to be the best player in the story, or the best Anno 20 player outside of Julia Loki, of course. Sae is an interesting character to analyze because he's so versatile that it's damn near impossible to defend against him. And there's something that a lot of people don't mention about him, but him being a striker in his younger years still makes him a viable option in that role, and I would even argue that he's better than almost any striker in Blue Lock except Kaiser, Shido, and probably Rin, and maybe Izagi, but I'm still taking Sae. He has all the qualities of an elite striker, but doesn't have the instinct for goal to be the best choice as a number 9. But moving on from that topic, Sae has the best dribbling out of any character in Blue Lock, yes, even Bachira. In my opinion, Sae's dribbling is much more effective because he basically counters his opponent's movement, giving them no chance to get the ball. And all that is shown during the Blue Lock 11 against the U20 Japan game, no player was even close to getting the ball from Sae except Rin, but that's something different. The way he was moving was so random that it's basically impossible to predict, and Rin himself stated that the only reason he got the ball from Sae was because he knew how he played from the childhood training. But anyways, coming back to Sae's skills, he is easily the best passer in the whole manga. It's not even close. That even includes the master strikers. I'm pretty sure none of them has statements of being better passer than Sae. Maybe Snuffy because he is the best all-around player in the world, but I'm still picking Sae over him because from his feats and his showing in the U20 game, Sae's passing skills is crazy, actually insanity. He is so precise or accurate with his passing that he's able to flawlessly control or predict where the ball will end up, and even able to anticipate the movements of really fast players like Chigiri, which requires an insane level of talent, IQ, vision, and experience. And there is something else that Sae does with his passing, which makes him look even crazier. So he's basically able to adapt his passing based on the striker he's passing to, which is actually kind of crazy the more you think about it, because this is the first time that Sae played with any of these players, and the fact that he was able to understand the way they played and the best pass for each of them is insanity, like truly insane. I know that I'm just glazing Sae for like the whole video, but he is that guy, bro, you cannot blame me. But on a more serious note, when it comes to shooting, I would argue that Sae has the most accurate shot in Blue Lock, maybe except Kaiser because he is actually kind of crazy with that Kaiser impact and the Predator Eye combo. But Sae showed us during the U20 game that him not being a striker really doesn't limit his striking of the ball. There were many times during that game where Sae was able to shoot but decided to pass the ball to a teammate, or even at the end of the first half, if it wasn't for the defender being clutch, the goalkeeper was cooked, no question asked. At that point, Sae was the best player on the team and he was cooking absolutely everyone. It was so beautiful to witness. Man, you just had to be there for the U20 Japan game. Magnifique. For my last point discussing Sae, he definitely has better vision. It is all but confirmed by Izagi in the Manchester City match that Sae's level of play, vision, and IQ were all thanks to him using meta vision. And even during that game, Sae was able to anticipate almost all of Blue Lock's attacks, which makes him having meta vision just logical at this point. And oh yeah, one more thing about Sae, I'm serious, it's the last I'm gonna mention him until the end. But many people think that his ego was broken because he went to Spain and that's the reason why he no longer wants to be a striker. But I have a different way of seeing it. I think that he found out that his skills are much more suited to be a midfielder with the passing, the vision, the IQ, and his goals from now on were for him to become the best striker and him being the support to Rin. But that's just my headcanon. Michael Kaiser, or God's chosen emperor. Man, that nickname is so hard. God's chosen emperor. Damn. But he is the second New Gen 11 player introduced to us in the new US League, and Kaiser is an interesting character to analyze because he has easily the best sets of weapon in Blue Lock: Metavision, Predator Eye, insane off the ball movements, speed, dribbling, the instinct of a pure striker, and the Kaiser impact, which is honestly the best weapon in the whole series. It's not even close. In a series where the strikers are the most important characters, Kaiser having the best shot is something that we should always mention. And it's even said about Noir, the best striker in the whole manga, the main goal of the main character, that Kaiser's shot is even faster than his own, which is crazy. A U20 player being better than a master striker at a certain skill is something that we should always mention. But as you can see, Kaiser has all the talent and all the weapons to be the best player in the whole manga, but his mindset is the one thing dragging him down. In a series where self-affirmation is your strongest weapon, Kaiser falls flat and crumbles against any adversity that challenges him. Like against Chris Prince, where he was called out regarding his weak mentality, or when he was having a mental breakdown after losing to Izagi. I know that I'm just ragging on Kaiser, but this aspect of his character is something that we need to address. Your mental state in Blue Lock is your most important weapon, and Izagi is a prime example of it. Unlike Kaiser, he doesn't have all those God-given talents or gifts, but in return, his mindset is the main reason why he is so good at the moment. Izagi doesn't limit himself when facing anyone else, and is able to adapt to any player or situation. That's one of the many reasons why I enjoy his character so much, and he's so entertaining to read. And unlike other people, I actually really like that Izagi is this good at the moment because it is deserved. From chapter 1 to the recent events in the manga, we saw Izagi work hard from a mediocre striker to maybe top 5 right now, so I love it. His dynamic with Kaiser started off with a louder calling him a clown and someone who was no threat to him, to Izagi himself calling Kaiser the clown and destroying him in the Uber's game. I'm not saying that Izagi is better than Kaiser because that's not my point and that's not the case in the manga, but they're much closer to each other, and especially with the recent events in the chapters. But enough with the Kaiser slander, let me actually analyze the player because he is crazy. No joke, in fairness, there's a reason why he's New Gen 11 striker. In the game against Boacha, Kaiser showed us why he's the leader of the team. Every single action is put in place to set up the Kaiser impact, and him as a player is an embodiment of all of Blue Lock philosophy and the perfect striker in Izagi's eyes. He also has Metavision. I don't think I mentioned that before, but he's the first one to really show us how Metavision works and really help Izagi with his progress. He's able to analyze the field from a wider scope and anticipate almost any action, and it helps him get more space and makes it easier for him to score. My last point discussing Kaiser is that his finishing is actually crazy using his Predator Eyes and his Kaiser impact as a combo. With enough space and time, he's basically able to shoot and score from anywhere. It's like his goal against Manshine City and the goal against Ubers. Those two goals are incredible. Like maybe top 10 in Blue Lock. I gotta give Kaiser some credit. He was cooking. Don Lorenzo, or the Ace Eater, is the third New Gen 11 player introduced to us, and he might have some of the most impressive feats in the whole series. For the whole game, he was able to man-mark Kaiser without giving him time to do anything. And just a quick reminder, Kaiser is the best player in Blue Lock when it comes to off-the-ball movement, and Lorenzo made him practically useless for the whole game. The only reason he scored was because Lorenzo decided to mark Yukimiya for a split movement, and that gave enough time for Kaiser to set up the Kaiser impact. But if it wasn't for that movement, Kaiser was useless. When it comes to defending, he is easily the best in Blue Lock. It's not even close. In a 1v1 game against any player except Sae, it may be Rin at the moment, I'm picking Lorenzo every single time. He is that insane. Another weapon that makes Lorenzo so dangerous is his zombie step dribbling. He's able to confuse his opponent by making a very subtle way of moving that makes it pretty much impossible to read his movements. And Lorenzo also could work as a really good midfielder. Thanks to his awareness and his passing, he's able to dictate the game and create for different teammates. All that is shown in a play that leads up to one of Uber's most dangerous chances. After getting the ball from Kaiser, Lorenzo is able to dribble past the whole field with ease, and while doing that, he's actively switching with Nico to confuse his opponent at that time. But that's all I gotta say about Lorenzo. I really don't have that much to say about him because unlike Kaiser and Sae, who got more screen time and more plot relevance, he only got one game for us to explore his skill set, and even though what he showed us was crazy, I don't want to drag this too much. I've been recording for so long, I'm tired. After analyzing all three players, you can see that it's pretty tough or complicated to decide who's the best New Gen 11 player. In one hand, we got Sae, who's the most versatile and complete player out of the three, with the best meta vision and the best passing in the whole manga, with his dribbling that makes him damn near impossible to stop him. In the other hand, we have Kaiser, the best under 20 striker, who got the most insane sets of weapon in Blue Lock, Predator Eye, meta vision of the ball movements, and of course the Kaiser impact. And lastly, we got Lorenzo, who is the best defender in the manga. He was able to neutralize Kaiser for the whole game, and he's actually a really good on-ball player with his zombie step dribbling and his passing. If I had to choose a player, I'm not trying to be biased, but it's pretty obvious I would go with Sae. But of course, depending on the scenario, the other players could be the better choice, Kaiser as a striker or Lorenzo as a defender. But I'm still going with Sae because for me, he was the most impressive while he was playing, and unlike Kaiser who got locked up by Lorenzo for the whole game, which is hilarious. Kaiser really has no luck, man. But Sae wouldn't have that much of a hard time with Lorenzo because he's much more versatile and more suited of a player to take Lorenzo 1v1. Don't get me wrong, Lorenzo will still make it tough for him, but it's not going to be as hard or as embarrassing as the matchup against Kaiser. So my ranking would be Itoshi Sae, Don Lorenzo, and Michael Kaiser. But like I said at the start, any of the ranking could be valid because they're also relative to each other, and there's one area where they're all equal, is their nickname. It is so hard. The Japanese Prince or the Japanese Prodigy, God's Chosen Emperor, or the Ace Eater. Nah, they cooked like crazy. But that's all I gotta say for today. I was struggling so much to record for some reason this weekend, I do not know why. But if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.